go a little bit too far, you will get pedant of the day. Right now, though, it's time to do plank of the day.
Hello, it's plank of the day time.
And I'm delighted to say that it's a man who has appeared on Plank of the Week several times, and it's a man by the name of Gary Neville. Of course, this is a man who very famously did that speech about when the flags were all being put up around the country, raise the colours, that sort of that sweeping community-based initiative where people just wanted to put up more and more flags from the UK, Union flags, and wanted to put up St George's flags, and wanted to paint St George's flags on roundabouts and all of that. It was a very patriotic time. Some people felt that it was kind of making them feel uneasy. Some people actually took against it, which I always found very weird. I mean, you know, if you go to any country in the world, whether it's America, whether it's Scotland, whether it's France, whether it's Germany, whether it's Spain, whether it's Japan, and probably whether it's even Venezuela, you see basically loads and loads of flags of that country. And I don't think if you were in America, you would say to any American individual, oh, I'm a bit uneasy about all these flags. They would probably take a gun out, shoot you. I mean, it's ridiculous. But here's, if you remember the footage of Gary Neville there walking through Manchester, basically blaming white middle-aged men who he said they know what they're doing. They're causing hatred in our country. He talked about how at one of his places of work, he'd gone there to find that some Lithuanian guys had put a Lithuanian flag up. And he let them put that up, but then he told them to take down a Union flag, which had been put up by some of the builders who were working on his building site. And he was roundly criticised for that. Well, he's back in the news now, and this is a tweet from lots and lots of different people. But Gary Neville's a restaurant in Leeds has basically shut down, but he's left HMRC with £519,000 worth of unpaid tax, and which means, no doubt, that it will end up that the taxpayer picks up the bill. The man behind the curtain, which was the restaurant run by chef Michael O'Hare, closed in October 2024 with debts nearing £1 million, including two large sums owed to HMRC that made it the top creditor. Gary Neville held a 50% stake through his firm, listed second among creditors at £366,848, has served as a director until September 2024 without operational involvement. A spokesman noted the business suffered from COVID and economic woes, with assets too low at £9,500 for any recoveries. O'Hare later filed for bankruptcy, and the liquidation report highlights no payouts expected, spotlighting hospitality struggles post-pandemic. And there's the website of the restaurant there. It says, sorry, this store is currently unavailable. Yeah, you can say that again. You're not going to be getting any food there. And Raoul Braverman, who's Suella Braverman's husband, tweeted this. Gary Neville is the very definition of a champagne socialist. His restaurant collapses, leaving a reported bill of £519,000 unpaid to HMRC, and an insolvency loophole dumps the cost to the taxpayer, while a man who's worth £70 to £100 million walks away. Nick Buckley, MBE, former mayoral candidate for Manchester, says he is a socialist when he has an audience, but when it is convenient, he reverts back to being a capitalist, hence the unpaid tax bills that could be used to support our socialist state. It really is quite extraordinary. Right Honourable Nigel Adams says maybe it's those angry middle-aged white men who are to blame for not paying his HMRC tax bill. Totally understandable, especially if you're a massive hypocrite. And so many people have got something to say, and it's not very pleasant about Gary Neville, because the trouble is, like all champagne socialists, he has no idea about economics, and he doesn't really care about the taxpayer, because we're going to be picking up the bill. Ridiculous. Absolutely crazy. Canastria says to think he made more in a week than we all did in 3 years. I'm not sure if you're talking about Gary Neville there or not, but I'm going to say Gary Neville is forever going to be today's plank of the day.